There's some good news for you tonight. That is, Chris Bowen is not in this country. He's stuffing up our energy grid. But the bad news is he's in Brazil trying to spend more of your money on United Nations climate dreams. Here's what he said before he left the airport on the weekend.
Well, thanks for coming out, everyone. Obviously, I'm about to leave for COP, for the Conference of the Parties 30 in Brazil, where the rest of the world understands that renewables are the cheapest form of energy.
There he goes. The rest of the world recognises this dream, apparently. Australia are the laggards. I want to talk about this COP30 event that Bowen is at, and more importantly, his bid to try and have Australia host it next year. I'm joined by University of New South Wales economics professor Gigi Foster. Thanks for joining us again, Gigi. I thought it made a lot of sense to talk to you about this because we often talk to you about the problem of government spending and how we do have government, state and federal spending way too much and how it's going to hurt us all for not the here and now, but for future generations as well. How does $2 billion to host a UN conference in Adelaide next year fit into those priorities when it comes to government spending?
It doesn't really rank on my priority list, Chris, and I don't think it would rank on the priority list of most everyday Australians. Typically, the tool that we use to evaluate government policy decisions, as you know, is cost-benefit analysis. You look at how much it costs, and you look at how much it's going to benefit the Australian people. So if I look at what COP30, the one right now happening in Brazil, is aiming to achieve, I looked this up before the show, it's basically this vague collection of more virtue signaling. It's, more climate action, whatever that means. It's more, finance for climate stuff, whatever that means. It's not specific. It's not linked to the priorities of any given people, much less Australia's people. So I don't see the justification for it in traditional economic terms. I mean, you'd think about doing that kind of analysis for, let's say, a bid to host the Commonwealth Games or the Olympics, and you'd struggle, but you'd come up with some estimates of benefit.
Yep.
Nobody's even trying to do that.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. Chris Bowen, before he left, actually had a bit to say about how much has been spent already.
Well, we've spent $7 million so far on the preparation for COP31, should we host it.
There you go, $7 million just to, I don't know, send out some flyers or whatever. Penny Wong yesterday refused to talk about the spending. They campaigned for the event with our money, yet refused to tell us what they're hoping to spend on it. Now, some of the estimates are just over $1 billion. Others go closer to $2 billion. Have you got any idea what you would spend more than $1,000 million on to host a conference? Are they going to be building aeroplanes to fly everyone out here?
Look, I mean, having been a conference organizer over the last few years, many, many times, including for one this coming weekend at UNSW, I will tell you that catering has gone up in price over the last few years. But honestly, I don't know what they would be doing. I would say if they really wanted to do something important for Australia, and I know that this is not what Chris is going to do, what Chris Bowen will do, but he could say, right, we're going to focus on climate. We're going to basically tell it like it is. We're going to say what we need to do is think about adaptation. We need to think about costs and benefits on every different policy dimension on which we could take a move. And we're going to always consider what is best for Australia. We're going to consider other things like soil management, land management, not just cow methane, things like that just are such a tiny fraction of anything going on. They could really advance the agenda and put some sanity back in, but I don't think that that's what's going to be the result.
He won't be doing that wishful thinking, and I am speaking at that conference you're hosting on the weekend. I'll get organised and give it a plug later in the week. Thanks for joining us, Gigi. Gigi Foster there from University of New South Wales.